Hi everyone, it's Rax showcasing the Demon Hunter XP metas for Season 21. The first thing that we did in all of our testing was we put together the Demon Hunter XP metas and then we put together Rats. And we were all a little bit worried that Rats was just going to kill it and be way better. So we simulated both at Paragon 1000 with full augments. So that's what you're seeing right here. These three 110s are at Paragon 1000 with full augments. And we compared Rats to the Demon Hunter XP metas, and actually, much to our surprise, they seemed almost equal in power, if not slightly in favor of the Demon Hunters. So that was music to our ears, so we can't wait to run this in Season 21. This is what my team and I will be running. So let me give you a rundown here. So first of all, there is a lot of flexibility in how you can set up your group. We tried with God DH, ZDH, ZBarb, which is what you see here, and that's what we came to the conclusion was the best for our group. But you can also actually drop the second God DH for another support, whether it's a Z-Monk for the shields to try to protect squirts, or a Z-Neck to give you a crit cap for just more damage. So a lot of flexibility here depending upon what you and your friends are going to play, or even what you're searching for in like the communities. If you need a fourth to play, you can pretty much bring a wide variety of classes. Now, I already have the God DH guide and the ZDH guide and the ZBarb guide already on my channel, but I will go ahead and link those videos in the description below if you want a more detailed guide on how to play them. So what do these specific roles do? Well, the God DH twirls around and kills everything. So that's what you're seeing me doing. I'll explain it more in depth when we get into the next rift here. We'll do 3 of these back to back to back as we decimate that one in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Pretty darn good. The Z-Barb is exactly like the Rat Z-Barb, so the one that we all know and love. You just charge around and you pick up globes and you give us buffs and movement speed. And that's pretty much all you do. It's very, very easy for anyone wanting to get into group play. The Barb is extremely easy to play. If you want to be a real tryhard, you could actually take Spear and try to flip elites on top of each other, because area damage does really magnify our damage. So that's an option you can take, because you don't need Leap, for example, in the typical Rat Barb, because Demon Hunters can't leap. They're just strafing around, so Leap is not really helpful. So, and another thing is, if you do not have a Z-Neck, the Z-Barb should take Executioner, so you can kill them at below 10% health. We did not have this in these runs, so if we had that, we would have cleared it even faster than what you're seeing. Now, the ZDH probably actually has the hardest role, so it's a pretty high skill cap on the ZDH. You need to be ahead of everybody, and then you need to fire a bola. That way, as you're moving forward, you're pixeling everything. And then when you arrive at a clumped up, little cluster of elites that we're going to attack, you have to fire your multi-shot buff, and then you have to fire Entangling Shot and start strafing around with that to apply it everywhere before switching back to bolas and zipping ahead and moving forward again. And by the way, they have to take the Nemesis Bracers, so they get to click all the pylons as well. So the ZDH is a very, very active, very, very fun build, but I think it's a very, very high skill cap. So whoever in your group is up for the big challenge of being the ZDH, don't sleep on that role, because it's nowhere near as easy as the Barb. So back to the God DH, I learned some things from the guide that I put out about the XP set, or the meta section, that I would change. So the Hungering Arrow, the Strafe, the Vengeance, and the Fan of Knives I think are pretty much staples in this build. It's very challenging at low Paragon levels to keep your Squirts buff up unless you bring a third Z-Monk. So the Fan of Knives is helping you keep that up, as is the Vengeance. You have to take Hungering Arrow because it's your main attack. By the way, a lot of people ask me, can you take Bolas? Bolas is way less damage. It just won't work. You've got to play Hungering Arrow. And of course, we need Strafe so we can move around and take advantage of our 4-piece. The question is what do we do with the last 2 skills? Well, originally in my guide, I recommended to take smokescreen displacement for a 100% movement speed, which I don't have here. As you can clearly see, we do not need more movement speed. We already move at the speed of light, so let's take something a little bit more helpful than more movement speed. And then the other thing that I took was Caltrops Bait the Trap, which you can definitely take for more crit chance. But what I found at low paragons to be much more valuable was, instead of taking Caltrops and Smokescreen, to take Shadow Power Gloom and Preparation. Shadow Power Gloom is giving you massive damage reduction to try to keep your Squirt's Necklace up, and Preparation is giving you more discipline to keep your Shadow Power up. I tried all kinds of different variants, and then you might be asking, why don't you take Companion, Wolf Companion? Your ZDH should have 100% uptime on the Wolf for you. So, with all that in mind, I updated the guide. I would recommend Shadow Power Gloom and Preparation. If you are incredibly strong and super high Paragon, or you're playing with a Z-Monk and you have no trouble keeping your Squirps up all the time, you could consider throwing in Caltrops Bait the Trap in instead. So let's get into one more run where we are going to annihilate. This was actually our fastest run, I believe, where we're going to annihilate this battlefields. Another common question was, do you take Teguk or do you take Zaystone? In this, we were trying Zaystone. Again, I would recommend Teguk, even though Teguk is slightly less damage, because the armor buff is really going to help you keep your Squirt's Necklace buff up. And sometimes Zaystone is not really, even though it's more damage, it's a little bit misleading because it encourages you to be super far away from the pack. And when you're super far away, Hungering Arrow has a maximum distance that it can travel, so it may actually be costing you damage rather than helping you. So all in all, I'm going to switch back to Teguk and play it that way, at least until I learn otherwise why I shouldn't. Another topic was, should you take Vala's Bequest or something else? Vala's Bequest, as I understand it, it gives you increased damage in groups of monsters, which is obviously what this is. But I think in order to take that, you'd have to give up your Fortress Ballista, which I think is giving you the shield, which is keeping your Squirt's Necklace up. So again, for that reason, I would stay with Fortress Ballista and keep Squirts up as was introduced in the guide, even though Vala's may be more damage. And that's pretty much it, guys. If you guys have any questions or comments about this, feel free to let me know. My team will be starting with this group, and if I learn more stuff along throughout the season, I'll put it in the pinned comment, and I'll update the D3 planners, of course, and tell you why we changed anything. But this feels really good. It's really fun to play. It's very comfy. And I like it a lot more than Rats, not only because it's something new, but it's much, much harder for someone to die in this, so you're going to keep your pools of reflection and stuff like that. So I think everyone's going to have a lot of fun playing this in Season 21. Anything you want to know or any comments, leave them down below. I read everything on every video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in Season 21.